Welcome to another video of Dota Tactics. I'm Xonos and this is how you can play Morphling. Morphling is a ranged agility hero known for his incredible flexibility and sustainability, making him one of the most feared and fun to play carry heroes of patch 6.86. Waveform is a target point ability enabling Morphling to damage enemy units in its trajectory. Note that Morphling is invulnerable during Waveform. Adaptive Strike is Morphling's second ability, stunning the target while dealing base damage plus additional damage based on Morphling's agility times a multiplier. If Morphling's agility is 50% higher than strength, the maximum damage and the minimum stun is dealt. If strength is 50% higher than his agility, the maximum stun and minimum damage is dealt. Morph in the form of agility gain pulls points from strength and transforms them into agility points. This process is reversible. Morph in the form of strength gain pulls points from agility and transforms them into strength, making Morphling tankier. Replicate is Morphling's ultimate, enabling him to replicate any hero, friend or foe, dealing 50% of the original hero's outgoing damage while taking 100% of incoming damage. At any time, Morphling can instantly take the position of the replicate for 150 mana. If Morphling dies, the replicate will expire. Note that enemies will see which unit is a replicate, and Morphling is also able to use the hybrid spell, which enables him to replicate a target allied hero, which can cast all of that hero's current non-ultimate abilities. Enemies are able to see which unit is a hybrid. There are many ways to play Morphling. The following build focuses on a solid laning build. At level 1, invest 1 skill point into Morph to be able to switch between agility and strength for incoming ganks or early team fights. At level 2, invest 1 skill point into Waveform to be able to take down weak enemy heroes while also having an escape spell at your disposal. As Morphling has rather slow movement speed in the early game and needs to rely on escape mechanisms, max out Waveform first by investing further skill points at levels 3, 5 and 7. Make sure to max out Morph second by investing further skill points at levels 4, 6 and 8. Morphling usually does not level his ultimate at the standard 6, 11 and 16 based on his very unusual spell combination. Therefore you invest further skill points into Adaptive Strike at levels 9 and 12 to 14, as this spell will help you snipe down enemies into the mid to late game. Only invest further skill points into your ultimate at levels 10, 11 and 16. As one of your starting items, get a Mango for instant mana restoration after using one of your rather expensive spells in early game. Get Tangles and a Ring of Protection for better survivability in the early game. Also make sure to purchase 2 Iron Branches to simplify last hitting. As soon as you can afford it, get a Wraith Band to further improve last hitting. As a next item, get Boots of Speed and only then get a Ring of Aquila, which will increase your resistance from harassment and assist you even further in last hitting. Morphling is a very mana dependent hero, as he needs to use a combination of spells to effectively take down enemies. Therefore you should get a bottle as one of your core items in lane. Further core items consist of Power Treads and a Magic Wand. Another core item is Lincoln Sphere, which will prevent any incoming burst damage from enemy heroes. In addition, it will provide you with 150% increased mana regeneration, which is very important for Morphling. If your overall farm and the situation allows it, go for luxury items like an Ethereal Blade, Eye of Skadi or Butterfly. Especially Ethereal Blade is known to enable Morphling to shotgun enemies, as in combination with Adaptive Strike. You will deal incredible amounts of damage and therefore easily kill enemy heroes. If you are targeted by a lot of spell-intense heroes, make sure to buy a BKB as a situational survivability item. Extension luxury items consist of Boots of Travel, Manta Style and Satanic, all at aiming to increase your damage output and mobility. Morphling plays well together with heroes that can both protect him and also provide him with good early kill opportunities. Honorable mentions are Venomancer, Omni Knight, Jakiro and Crystal Maiden. You should avoid picking Morphling if the enemy team consists of heroes that can burst and stun Morphling early on. Honorable mentions are Invoker, Silencer, Nyx Assassin and Lion. Morphling is an extremely versatile hero. However, note that in the early game he is rather slow and can easily be outplayed by certain laning combinations. Additionally, Morphling is a very farm and item dependent hero that needs to get his core items to be able to sustain himself in early fights while having an impact on the game. You can either do this by building an early Boots of Travels after a Magic Stick and Ring of Aquila. This will allow you to farm across the map and give you the option to play a more pushing and farm heavy Morphling. When following this strategy, you can leave a replicate on one side of the map to morph to after you have used your teleport from Boots of Travel to farm elsewhere. This will maximize your farming potential greatly. Note, when executing this combination you should consider whether the early stats from power threads will be more beneficial. If this is the case, you should pay attention to thread switching, as early tank ability and game impact is more important, especially after a bad laning phase. Either way, both choices are valid but highly situational. Your overall item build should focus on building at least one defensive item, BKB, Manta Style or Lincoln Sphere. Lincoln Sphere is more popular on Morphling since the provided stats have the most benefits out of the three mentioned items. Lincoln Sphere provides for a greater mana pool for Morphling, allowing him to have more map presence without the need to regenerate at the fountain. The active spell block of Lincoln Sphere also provides an advantage against foes with targetable spells or active items. BKB is a classical situational item depending on the enemy team lineup. Morphling can easily be burst down since he takes time to provide enough stats from agility to strength. BKB can however ensure that he cannot be burst down and targeted for a certain period of time. Generally speaking, the stats from this item are relatively weak, and since Morphling thrives on items with stats, you should only buy BKB if it is really required for you to sustain teamfights. Manta Style has both offensive and defensive advantages on Morphling. It's an excellent choice versus heroes with the silence and is very good in combination with Boots of Travel, enabling Morphling to push out lanes easily. It also provides an increased agility, which increases general movement speed, which is very beneficial in combination with Boots of Travel, as Morphling is a rather slow hero. As already mentioned in the general item build, offensive items can include Ethereal Blade, which means you will be playing the well-known shotgun Morphling. The combo is as follows. You cast Ethereal on the enemy target so they take more magic damage. You then follow up with an Adaptive Strike, which deals magic damage based on his agility, which is then followed by a waveform to add 350 magic damage at maximum level. As a result, waveform will close the gap for when the effect of Ethereal Blade wears off. This is excellent for bursting down lone HP targets early on, and it even scales into the later stages of the game, dealing damage to stronger heroes. Be careful who you target, because it means they cannot be attacked by physical damage for the full duration. Note that this item also provides the most agility in the game, so it is a popular pickup for the hero. Do not rush this item, make sure you pick up a defensive item first, which was mentioned earlier. In most cases, a pure Ethereal Blade build is not very effective. Mentioned Butterfly and Scatty give Morphling the most agility stats after Ethereal Blade. Morphling thrives from agility-based items as they provide more damage to his shotgun combo and allow to scale in the later game. Eye of Scatty provides Morphling with great overall stats and is a useful item to slow targets to more easily finish them off. Butterfly is an excellent choice versus physical damage lineups, as it provides Morphling with evasion and movement speed, increasing kite ability and ace capability. Remember, since these are all agility items, they don't just provide Morphling with damage, but will also make him very tanky to physical damage, since agility gives armor. Monkey King Bar of course is situationally very good and viable on the hero as a damage item versus enemies with evasion. Also make sure to use your ultimate to its fullest potential, both as an offensive and defensive spell. Morphling is very good at taking out single targets while evading enemy gank attempts. However, he might suffer in big early team fights, therefore try to kite as many enemies as possible and take as many kill opportunities as you can from the early game for an easier advantage. As always, remember to adapt your item choices to the situation at hand and play a role accordingly. If you stick to these basic rules, Morphling will be a very satisfying and fun to play hero. Thank you for watching another contribution to my Dota Hero Guide series. I also want to thank Steve for providing me with additional information and tips for this guide. Please make sure to share this video and also check out my written guide on our new website callsignhavocsquad.com. It really helps me and our new team a lot. Thanks, and see you guys next time.